Hey, truth seekers, welcome back. Zach here. It's September 1st, 2016, and there's more Zika propaganda in the mainstream headlines by the numbers. What we're going to talk about in this video is why we're getting this news story today, September 1st, about mosquitoes carrying Zika being found in Miami Beach, Florida. A month ago today, August 1st, the CDC issued the historic warning, a travel advisory for people coming to the Miami neighborhood in Florida. They said it was a 1 by 1 square mile area where people were not to travel to because it was infected with Zika. But apparently, they didn't capture a mosquito that had Zika until today. So, anyway, as nonsensical as that sounds, it is because these stories are complete nonsense, and this is propaganda being used to scare us into an agenda that's about selling petrochemical sprays and possibly, eventually, treatments, maybe even vaccines. So, let's talk about today's headline, why it's happening in Miami Beach. If you're new here, I've been documenting the Zika propaganda since January 1st, 2016. CNN, the propaganda news network, just like the rest of the mainstream media is, all day New Year's Day 2016, their coverage was on Zika, this emerging threat in mosquitoes. It could hit the U.S. by the summer. And that's what I was saying. All right, let's watch these headlines. Let's see how they roll out by the numbers. We'll talk more about it. If you've missed the work up to this point, down in the description, just below this video, I have this playlist linked. Watch these videos plus the one you're about to watch. You'll be caught up on mostly what's important. So now let's jump into why Miami Beach, why today. Today is September 1st, 2016. In numerology, today's date equals 46. Gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words, Miami Beach also equals 46. And the reason numerology and gematria are relevant is because the people who control our media, who control our government, they are Zionist Jews for the most part. And in the Jewish faith, there's something called Kabbalah, which is Jewish mysticism based in numbers. And these are the things that you use. Numerology, gematria, the calendar. This is all what Kabbalah is about. And the people who run our news, they're Kabbalists. They create their propaganda using these concepts. The Freemasons, these Zionist Jews, they are Masonic. It is Freemasonry, the international society. The founders of this nation were Freemasons. This nation was built by the numbers. Anyone who tells you that this nation was hijacked and taken over is mistaken. This nation was built out of an agenda by the numbers that is still ongoing. And I have multiple videos on this. Anyhow, Freemasons believe in order out of chaos. And what they do with their mainstream media is they create unnecessary fear, unnecessary panic, an organized chaos that results in dollars, consumption, purchasing, the sale of pharmaceuticals, the sale of chemical sprays that are actually toxic to us. People are trying to protect themselves from a disease, from a virus, and they're truly, hurting their lifespan by spraying toxic chemicals on them that their governments told them are safe enough. So anyway, this is why Miami Beach, why today. Every time these Zika stories roll out, the location, the date, it all syncs up. Remember, Zika itself equals 47, and it was supposedly discovered in 47. By the numbers. That was a very special year for this nation, also for the Zionist state of Israel, which was established that year. The word authority equals 47. Think about this nation's birthday, the 4th day of the 7th month. So let's look now at these headlines that CNN has up. They're here. Also notice how the other top story is the hurricane that's about to hit Florida, or it could just be a tropical storm. Either way, it will bring a lot of moisture, the fertile grounds for mosquitoes. Mosquitoes like rain, moisture. A tropical storm will bring more of that. And, we're living in a day and age where there's mad science being used against us. If you don't know what the clinic is, Walter Reed, look up Walter Reed. It's been in operation for more than a century. This is where they research disease and illness in mosquitoes. And our tax dollars, what are truly being done to us, if there really is a mosquito threat, is our tax dollars are being used to engineer these mosquitoes to harm us so that the banker tyrants at the top can sell more medicine, more chemicals. That's what it's all about. Order out of chaos. So these headlines, they're here. Let's talk about what's up with they're here in regards to today. They're here in gematria sums to 117, just like Central Intelligence Agency and the CIA, the FBI, these institutions that are supposedly here to protect us. What they truly are used to do is to create propaganda, fear, terrorist attacks, disease outbreaks. They manage these type of propaganda operations because these type of propaganda operations steer us as a society, and that is truly their purpose. We are here to be steered down the path of an agenda that most Americans just nod their head and go along with, even though it's totally against them. The United States of America, a very interesting place, a lot of very unhappy people, a lot of miserable people who will not confront the truth of why they are so miserable and what's being done to them. So all they ever do is take out their anger and frustration on their neighbor. You went and surveyed the majority of people in this nation, how they're living, how they're feeling, you would find that that is the majority of people's reality here in this nation at this day and age. And that's not by accident. That's how the powers that be have bred us to be. They believe in order out of chaos and divide and conquer. And they have us all divided, fighting over nonsense, hating each other, rejecting truth. Anyhow, this headline has the connection to Central Intelligence Agency. The small way, it also sums to 63. Remember, the big way and small way will always have the same numerology. 1 plus 1 plus 7 is 9. 63, 6 plus 3 is 9. Both break down to 9. 63 is special this year because if you count every number up to 63, it sums to 2016, like the year we're in on the Gregorian calendar, which we go by. And again, this story was breaking news January 1st, 2016. This is the big, viral scare story of 2016. Ebola, that one's gone down the memory hole. They were really trying to scare us with that. Then it just disappeared, fell off the face of the earth. Ebola was all by the numbers. Just like once upon a time, AIDS was by the numbers. Just like so many of these things over the years have been by the numbers. That phrase, they're here, let's also address the question, who is they? They has gematria 58, a very special number to Freemasonry, the international secret society. Again, many of the founders of this nation, Freemasons. United States itself has gematria 58. The calendar we're on, Gregorian equals 58. Calendar itself equals 58. Science 58. They 58. The Freemasons have a stranglehold on the information of this world. Scientific, spiritual, historical. We are living at this day and age through the world that they have built around us. And we the people need to wake up and see through the lies, the matrix of understanding that they've created around us. Because this matrix, what it does is it keeps us trapped. And it keeps us fighting over the same nonsense and afraid of the same things. And all of it's needless. And all of it can be put to rest if these people are exposed. So anyhow, with regards to the CIA and creating propaganda to scare us, to steer us, CIA and CNN have the same gematria, 13. And if you count every single number up to 13, as you see here on the screen, it sums to 91, a lot like today's date, September 1st. 13, a very important number to this nation, began with 13 colonies, 13 stripes on the flag, 13 years of public school programming to trust media, to trust government, trust Big Brother, respect authority, don't question what you're not supposed to. USA is 21 plus 19 plus 1 equals 41. 41's the 13th prime. They're here, and they've been here because they established this nation and they've been running it the same way ever since. This is what real tyranny is, being ruled over with lies, deceit, abuse, threats. If you haven't seen my work up to this point this year, again, the playlist is right here. The Zika playlist covers from January of this year, the 5th video on the playlist, up to the most recent. And I'll be adding this video to the bottom of the playlist. But this is what it is, Propaganda by the numbers, the Zika virus. This could be, just a cover-up for something that has been unleashed within young children, pregnant mothers, with something within the food, within vaccines. You know, there's a lot of disease and illness emerging for young children that wasn't here a decade ago, 2 decades ago, more and more creeping up with time. And notice this whole Zika thing, it's mostly focused on pregnant women and young children. And it really makes me wonder if there's something else that's wrong out there. And instead of having us acknowledge that, they'll create this new threat and blame it on that. You know, if Zika sticks around, unlike Ebola did, the way media is, just wait. If it sticks around for another year, you'll read stories that'll make it seem like Zika's been around forever, could have been impacting children for a longer time than they thought. This is what they always do. They always just create new information, new story, changing. It's why all of us don't know what to think in this nation. You know, we all just shrug our shoulders because we're told so much stuff that doesn't add up at the end of the day. And it's all by design. All right, Truth Seeker, until next time.